Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, and we are back with Johnny Guitar in the Johnny Guitar lair
Well, thank
in
you
a secret location.
Yeah, in a very, very secret location, absolutely. No, thanks a lot for having me back. It's been a long time, something like 6 months, I think. When was that? July or early August?
Yeah, it's been a while. Lots of adventures have been
Yeah,
going on since then.
yeah. The world is still a beautiful place, isn't it? But on
You did travel, then you were horror shocked by France.
Yeah. No, I went back in France, and if you're coming from Hong Kong, which is super serious about the measures to take against COVID, and you went to France back in August, and you saw the level of carelessness that was taking place over there. You just knew that things were going to get extremely bad, and without fault, it did. But I at least I had the joy of being a quarantine at home for 2 weeks after that. Now, if you're coming back to Hong Kong, you need to be quarantined in a hotel for 3 weeks at your own cost. So I consider myself lucky to have been able to travel at the time that I did,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't do it right now. 14 days, even at home, is already a long time to spend locked in your own place, really.
And tell me, did you order that Sinn
Ha!
before the holidays? When did you order it?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the Sinn that is as difficult to get as a as a Rolex, really, because this watch I think came out sometime in the middle of April. They announced it, and I placed my order with a German website in the first week of May. So within 2-3 weeks max after it came out. But what I did also is, and we'll get back into the technical details, I got the fully tegimented version, which is the fully hardened surface, not just the bezel, but the bracelet, the case, etc. And
Means you can't scratch it, right?
virtually, it's very
No,
difficult.
you managed. You have scratched it.
You
Oh no,
could.
that's just dust.
Yeah, but don't tell me that. It's yeah. So it initially they told me they would deliver it to me in July. In July, they told me that I would get it in October. In October, they told me I'd get it in November, and I finally got it on the 30th of December. So the best part of 7 or 8 months to get this watch. Apparently, the demand had surprised them. They didn't anticipate that this watch was going to be so popular, and they were lagging, especially if you asked for an option like I did, which lengthened the process of producing the watch.
So what was special about this model? Because sometimes I go to a shop, I see different Sinn models. A few of them look pretty similar. What's different about the U50?
So the U50 is a descendant of the U1. So the U1, I think, was introduced in 2004 or 2005 with exactly the same design, the hands, the bezel, and everything, except that it's a 44 millimeters watch that's about 14.5 millimeters thick. So it's pretty much the same dimension as a Panerai on the bracelet. And what was special about this watch at the time, besides the design that is very, very specific, it's one of those models from Sinn that is made out of submarine steel, which is denser and harder than normal 904L or 316L steel. And that's one of the main reasons why I like this watch, is because if you take a 904L steel or a 316L, which for instance Tudor uses and which the majority of makers are using, their hardness measured in Vickers is around, I've read different things, it's somewhere between 200 and 220, maybe 240. This particular steel has a hardness of 350 without even being treated. And then what Sinn does for all of these dive models, at least the bezel, they apply a process which is called carburizing, which their proprietary name is a tegimented, which basically you put this in an oven at about 1,000 degrees, and you inject a carbon-rich gas into it, and what's happening is that the molecules of carbon are bonding onto the metal. So it forms a layer that is bonded to the metal. So it's not like a paint of coat, but it becomes part of the metal and it makes it harder. And then it means that the hardness goes all the way up to 1500. So which is about 6 or 7 times more than a normal stainless steel. So they do this on the bezel on this watch or on the U1. But what I've asked, and that you can get as an option for a few hundred euros more, is you can have that process applied to the entire case and bracelet as well. And which is what I went for, because when I was looking at my collection, I didn't have a beater. I mean, fundamentally, what I was using as a beater is something that's not supposed to be used as a beater or not as a beater anymore, is something like this, or even going to the gym or going to the swimming pool with something like that. And I'm like, yeah, so...
Well, someone I just sold a watch to was calling the Explorer 2 Rolex's G-Shock, which is, fairly fair.
Well, before the prices went silly, right? And again, this is my third Explorer 2. I've had an Explorer 2 since 2002. I've done so much sport with this particular model that it's fit for purpose. It works. But the thing is, I went into this phase where I'm like, yeah, it's still a bit silly now. This goes for what, like $7,000 US? I mean, I bought it for not half the price that it is now. But I'm like, yeah, I really need something a little bit cheaper and something that's really tough. And when I looked at the options, obviously you've got Seiko, who does a lot of really, really interesting models in that, at a really good price. That's a fantastic example of what Seiko does. Your SPB 147 is another one. I actually, you have the 47 or
149?
149.
The blue dial, yeah.
Yeah, the one I actually like is the 147 and the 145. And those were really, competing pretty highly for that beater watch that I wanted. But I elected not to go for Seiko because my concern with those is the fact that Seiko does not really regulate those movements that well. So you can be lucky and have something that's within 5 seconds a day, or you're unlucky and you've got something that gains 20 or 25 seconds a day. And I just didn't want to be in a lottery where I was going to have to bring it to a watchmaker to regulate it, because I'm all good at 5 seconds a day. If it's smaller than that, all the better. But this is just too much, and I didn't want to take the chance. And I got it from reading actually quite a number of posts on this, that from watchmakers, that it can be difficult to regulate. As in, people sometimes they have to do it 2 or 3 times before they get it right. Unlike
an ETA, which can be amazingly accurate.
What's really interesting is that everybody is really ditching ETA, saying, yeah, well, it's not very noble, it's not like in-house, or Sellita for that matter, because now that a lot of brands like Sinn, like this Sinn, has a Sellita inside, and now people say, oh, but Sellita is rubbish. I mean, I'd much rather have an ETA, whereas there are some minute difference, but it's exactly the same thing. It's a derivative of this, and Sellita used to produce for ETA. They're fit for purpose, right? Let's put it this way. For a watch like this Sinn, do I care that it's a Sellita or an ETA inside? And by the way, the Sellita that it has inside is the Sellita SW300, which is a carbon copy of the ETA 2892, if I'm not mistaken.
The slimmer one.
The slimmer one, right? Which incorporates.
The watch is very slim, and by the way, although it's a very hard steel, it's very light.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is 11 millimeters.
Very slender.
11.1, I think. So it's very, very slender, and the movement does the trick, right? It's been consistently within 4 seconds a day. since I've had it. Do I care that it's not an in-house movement? No. Do I care that it's not, at a level of finishing that is extraordinary? No, I don't. It's, criticizing the movement on this watch for what it is. It's just like me criticizing my Lange or my Vacheron Constantin Corne de Vache because it's not waterproof, and say it's a rubbish watch.
Exactly.
It's not waterproof. That's not what you get this watch for. You get this watch because it's got technical capabilities that allow you to have some activities that you wouldn't with other watches.
Like beating up people?
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah,
Okay.
most times. Yeah,
That's what you mean by beat a watch?
that's exactly what it
Okay.
means. Yes, exactly. You use this as a knuckle duster, and it won't have any scratch
Exactly.
on it. So there's that. What's quite remarkable as well is besides the quality of the material, the steel itself, this is a watch that's 11 millimeters thick and which has a water resistance of 500 meters, which to my knowledge they are the only ones to produce. Now the U1, so its bigger brother, it's water resistant to 1000 meters, and I think that they've got something in their line that's even going to 2000 meters. So it's in terms of tough technical watch, the design is what it is. It's a bit austere. I actually really like it because it reminds me of some of what IWC used to make for Porsche back in the 90s. If you remember those watches, they did an entire series of dive
I
watches.
wasn't
like
born
that.
yet. I don't know.
Well, that's why you meet with a guy like me, so that you have a piece of archaeology right next to you. But yeah, it's as soon as this watch came out, I knew that this is what I wanted, just because it fit my collection exactly right, and I didn't have anything remotely similar to this. The hands, for instance, are a bit of an acquired taste. Even on the U1, they were not necessarily the part that I preferred, but they've actually grown on me.
No, they have a great presence.
Oh, and the thing, and what it does, it's probably the most legible watch you can think of. And the lume at night is very, very good too. Not necessarily in terms of intensity, because I've had watches like my ex Tudor Pelagos, which were brighter, but it lasts extremely long. Meaning that even at say 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, you're still going to be able to read the time. So it does what it's supposed to do extremely well. It's just a tough, no nonsense watch. I was pretty thrilled when I finally got it. I put it on a bracelet just so that you could see, but it also comes with a really, really good rubber strap that I got on on the clasp, on the Sinn clasp, which also was tegimented, and that's just a joy to wear. The watch is even lighter. I actually managed to play an hour of tennis with it this week with the rubber bracelet. You kind of forget the watch on the wrist, and it's just very, very cool. So yeah, I was quite thrilled with this.
So yeah, final word on the Zinn. It's very cool. It's just so different. It's a design language of its own. I like how the dial is. There's not too much on it. It's very compact. The writing and the bezel looks great as well. It's very original. They really don't copy anyone here.
Yeah. So let me just show you just a couple of things. So the weakest part really about this watch is the clasp. There's really nothing to write home about for the clasp.
It's very Seiko-ish.
It's very Seiko-ish. What is interesting is I didn't take it out, a little bit silly of me, but the clasp, the deployance clasp on the rubber strap is markedly better than that. Like it's like substantially better than that. It's very well engineered. It's a little bit of a mystery to me why they wouldn't put the exact same type of clasp on this watch instead. Just another fun thing is if you see this little logo here, this is what shows that it's been hardened, surface hardened, and you can see this as well. you can see just under the U50 there.
Okay.
Yeah. So this little logo, that's how you can make the difference between the ones which have been case and bracelet hardened versus the ones which haven't. If someone was interested in a Sinn dive watch, I would actually recommend that they get the ones which are fully tegimented, because they tend to resell also much more, and they're going to be tougher as well. So in daily usage, it's well worth putting $200 or $300 more to get this kind of finishing.
Yeah, and it won't be damaged. So when you set it, it's just like when you got it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that it's not 100% scratch proof, but it's significantly more so than anything else that's presented on this table there. So yeah, quite happy with this one. I've been wearing this non-stop for the past 8 or 9 days since I got it. I just love the way that it fits on the wrist. It's thin enough that it fits under a cuff without any problem. It's obviously not necessarily something that you're going to bring at the Ferrero Rocher party at the Ambassador.
You could, I mean...
Yeah, you could.
I could see James Bond wearing that. It's a ready watch.
Well,
ready for anything.
Actually, this is the closest thing that I have as to an actual tool watch.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a tool watch. A Rolex, especially any modern Rolex, anything that's in the current catalog.
It's for tools. It's not a tool.
It's a very nice piece of jewelry. Let's put it this way.
It's for tools like me.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful watch. But even then, yesterday I was, as I was telling you, I went to a shop, a great dealer, obviously, because you would never be able to see it at the Rolex AD. But I saw the new green bezel Submariner. I can't remember which silly name they came.
At the Starbucks? Or
the Starbucks, yes. That
I was calling it the Keramit.
Yeah, but that was not a bad.
Nobody likes it, but.
Well, okay, so the Starbucks or whatnot. I put it on the wrist, and it's a beautiful watch. And by the way, and maybe that's another video. I thought that it was really, really nice. But I had that on my wrist, and it feels so luxurious. When you see the sheen of the metal and all that, and you're like, wow, it's got a wow factor to it. And then I took it off, and I put my Sinn back on, and I'm like, wow, that's brutal. Like literally, that the word that came to my mind. That's brutal. You go from really what is intended now to be a luxury object that parades or is marketed as a tool watch, because that's all they're doing all the time, and then you put it next to something that looks like a Black & Decker electric saw, really, in terms of design, and you're like, that's an actual tool. That's the kind of stuff you can put into harm's way, and you're not going to be too sorry for it.
That was for the Sinn. So does it have another name than the U50? That's the U50. Is it known as something else?
No, that's a U50. So it's the U50T specifically for tegimented.
Right.
There's a few versions that are available as well. You can have this with also a black bezel, and you can have it also fully blackened, which is where they put some DLC coating on top of a fully tegimented watch, which makes it black, and I think even a little bit harder, because I think that when you apply DLC on top of that, the first layer is actually going to be at 2000 Vickers, which is 10 times what a normal stainless steel.
So the black one is harder.
That's what she said.
That's exactly what she said.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Oh, Michael.
Bye bye.
Serious.